Hello, good evening, and welcome along to the Open Mic Hour. Sorry about the intro there. I think we're onto some technical difficulties as well. Just trying to sort out the comments, and they're coming up now. Good evening, and oh my word, how honoured I'm going to be tonight to introduce this amazing guest. Get starting with my very good pick, and I'm going to introduce Gavin. Canavan. So I'd like to bring him on and introduce him now. Hello, Phil. Hello, Claire. Hello, Lee. Hope you're all right. Hello, good evening,
Hey,
Gavin.
how are things? Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm fine. Oh, thank you for spending time with us tonight. I'm going to say it's an honour and it's a pleasure, basically, because I do feel you're in one of these specialist fields there where people know what they're dealing with and working with. Could you give us a little introduction about yourself and tell us a bit more about yourself and talk as much as you like? I'm all ears. I'm waiting to go. I've had this little picture done for you as well with the old Succubus.
So Incubus Succubus, yeah. Jesus.
So,
my name is listen, thanks for having me anyway. It's a pleasure to be here. But my name's Gavin Canavan, a religious demonologist in Ireland. I've been studying demonology for over 20 years and working private cases for about 15 years. I've been doing paranormal since I was a young lad. I've studied everything in the paranormal world, parapsychology. I've even studied psychic mediums, how they work, distance clearing. I've studied everything when it comes to paranormal. I've done ghost hunting for years. And, you know, when it comes to demonology, I think I was drawn to demonology since I was very young. And it's the only thing that I really stuck at and I love doing. And it works for me. And I just do private cases now, just helping people because, you know, at the end of the day, you don't know. At the end of the day, you might as well do something in this world to help people because you don't know where you're going to go if you pass or anything happens to you. So I think my part is just helping people and do my best, really, free of charge. And I travelled all over England and Ireland. Well, sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I'm not used to.
No, Dave. Don't be nervous if you want to have
mixing up my words there.
No, as again, you've gone into your niche and you've gone in your area of what you're up to. Is like when we all start off with this and you're on your path, we go through certain segments and I find we come across a niche and something that you're really strong. And as you say, you're a helper. I've been doing like mediumship myself over the years. And when people call me a medium, I say, no, I'm a helper, I'm a healer. So I like helping, I like giving back. And like yourself, I will travel a length and, try my best out there to help anybody, be long distance or anything, and really help them with their problems and issues around spirits and all that as well. So how would you describe demonology and demonic cases? And I'll let you run and let you tell us more about how you find things.
Well, to be honest, demonology is a curse. You know, there's good parts and there's bad parts. You know, it takes up a lot of time and a lot of study. It took years and years. Like I've been doing it 20 years. When it comes to demonology, I'm only at the bottom of the ladder. That's how much information there is to learn. And the more cases you get, the more experience you get. And when I started off doing it, like I didn't have a clue, to be honest. I was reading books. I was doing online courses. I was trying to learn as much as I could. But to be honest, in Ireland, there's not many demonologists. When I was doing it years and years ago, there was a couple of paranormal teams, and no one believed in demons. No one believed in really the dark side of things. And I was trying to study and ask, and basically I was just pushed to one corner, and I was left by myself. So I was either going to give up or keep going. So I remember doing my first case, and I didn't really know what I was doing. All the online courses, they teach you all the information, but at the end of the day, they don't really teach anything. You're in the house and you're like, so anyway, I done that. I done a couple of cases and it was a bit all over the place. It wasn't really working out. So because I was in the paranormal world, I start just going on to different pages and Googling different people. And after about 2 or 3 years, I was working with, she's the best demonologist in America. They were one of my best friends. They taught me everything. I was ringing them in the middle of cases. I was chatting to them. So after about 5 or 6 years, I was going well. Everything was working out, and I was studying. And I started building my own collection of books. Like I've got books there worth thousands. I spent a lot of money on books because I found out good books is good education, you know. And then to work in the cases, I was taking books from people as well. They were giving me books, like haunted books, and you know, books they'd use in conjuring and bringing in darkness. So I was able to get a gist of everything. So I spent a good few years working away and building myself up, you know. And to be honest, 15, 20 years later, it's still the same, still learning. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard. And to be honest, the older you get, the harder it is to learn. Like, you know, you pick up a book now at 41 years of age, and after 10 minutes, you're falling asleep. It comes down to good experience. But the more cases you get, the better you are. When you go into a case, you go in with it before we get into that. So anyway, when I was working with these demonologists, they told me to scrap everything I've learned. Forget it all. It's not going to work for you. All the education, leave it to one side. You need to become religious. I said, well, okay, I'm religious enough. And they said, you're not religious enough. If you don't have a backing of God, if you're not religious when you're saying the prayers and it's coming from the heart, when you're casting stuff out, saying in Jesus' name, you're doing deliverance prayers, which is a certain set of prayers for doing certain rooms in the house and binding and loosening. If you go in and just say the prayers, you don't believe, it's not going to work. So I spent years becoming religious, going to mass, building up myself, you know. It took a long time. And even now and again, like you have to stay on top of things. But COVID's got me a bit out of shape. Like for the last year, I haven't really done much, you know. I haven't left the house. It's a bad asthma, so I can't really travel that far. I've done a couple of local cases, which are brilliant. But the weird thing is, you know, no matter what I do, no matter what I learn, you know, there's like two sides to me. It's really weird. Like there's the Gavin, that's the messer, the joker. You know, I have like kids and a partner, but when you go into a house, something happens. You become someone else. Straight away, you go into a house, you're a completely different person. You know? It's so professional. Like there are no professionals in the paranormal field. There's no professional anything. If there was professionals, we'll understand everything. But that doesn't stop us acting professional in the way we do our case files, the way we interview families. You have to have an empathy. You have to have emotion. You cannot judge anybody. You go into houses and they worship the devil. You know, they're doing Ouija boards, they're doing dark black magic. It's not your place to judge them. Because if you start judging people, it's not going to work. You don't judge people. You're there to help people. And I go into people's homes that are atheists. They don't believe in religion. They don't even believe in anything. But after about a couple of hours in the house and they see what's happening, they see the effect that the prayers are doing, they feel better. When you remove attachments, they feel it moving off them. And then at the end of the couple of hours, before you leave the house, they're walking around with you saying the prayers. They're the ones who are getting religious. Even if they believe in angels or a different light, they're believing in something. They're getting something from this. And I think that's why God or a higher power allow these things to happen. Because something good comes from it, you know. But like I say to other people, you don't have to live in the world of darkness, or you don't have to be in a haunted house. There are haunted houses, there are different entities out there, but the work I do is basically it's the dark cases I work. I work for paranormal teams, mediums. I work for anybody who wants help. They usually call me in after everybody else has done the house and they can't get rid of it. So, but the thing I find is, you know, people, these things have to be invited in. They are invited in through, but basically the two main things is invitation, the law of invitation and law of attraction. Law of invitation is when you do a Ouija board, you do a seance, and you don't protect yourself. You know, you're mostly teenage kids drinking. This is where it comes from. They don't know what they're doing. They're opening gates. Once Pandora's box is open, it's hard to close. So you have the law of invitation when you open the door and you allow something to come in. And once something comes in, it's hard to get rid of. And then you've got the law of attraction where people move into haunted homes and all of a sudden they're attracted to doing spells or doing Ouija boards or bringing in haunted objects. It's you know, people think of ghosts and demons as like you see TV and you watch the movies, and to be quite honest, that's not how it happens. I'll tell you now how exactly it happens, and it's very scary. So here I'm gonna get, if you don't mind me, I'll just talk for a few minutes and then I'll get into questions. So a real haunted house happens in 3 stages: infestation, oppression, and possession. And then there's full possession, but that's different. So what happens is you have say, I'm just gonna make up a story. I'm not gonna give facts on it because it's easier for me just to explain how this really happens, and it's terrifying. So when you're in a house and your teenage son is bored, You know, him and his mates want to use a Ouija board or, you know, do some whatever it is they do. Now, don't want to get into sort of. I'll just go with the Ouija board because I know a lot of people out there do witchcraft, and there's good witchcraft, there's good medium, everybody's good, but I don't want to put it on people. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be nice to everybody here. So he uses a Ouija board, nothing happens, and he goes back and he uses it. You know, spirits are. There's no time in the spirit world, but spirits are very aware of time. So once you use the board, it can automatically open the door. It doesn't have to show itself. Yeah. But most of the time, the board will move, it will talk, it will ask questions, and it seems harmless. So anyway, you can do that for a few weeks, a few months, everything's fine. Then one day, you go out to get in your car, and you have a flat tire. Oh, Jesus. So you go back into the house, you say, listen, I have a flat tire. So you go out and spend €70 on the tire. About 2 days later, you go back out there, and your car's broken for no reason. You spend another couple of hundred getting a mechanic. You come back into the house and everything's going well. Then about a week later, the TV breaks. The heating stops working. So you start spending money on plumbers and electricians. And this all builds up and builds up. There's no black shadows. There's no banging on the walls. What it is when an entity comes into your house, a dark entity, it studies you. It watches you. It has to break you down slowly. And what it does is it basically changes the vibrations. It studies everything you do. It has to oppress you in a certain way so we can take control. So when you're worried and stressed over money, the house is falling apart, things are breaking for no reason, the family starts to fight and argue. Stress comes into the house. Everything's emotions. So every time you get stressed, everything changes in your body, your vibrations change, your auric field changes, you know. You know, they're studying you, they're picking out the weakest person. You know, a family member might start fighting with the parents. They might isolate themselves to one room. So it picks the weakest person in the house. It can pick 2 people or 3 people at a time. And it does this for a while. And people are getting stressed. So what happens is you have the infestation stage where it's causing trouble in the house, like stuff is breaking, you know. So that goes on for a while. Then it goes into the oppression stage where it happens inside and outside. So inside is you start to feel alone. You know, my family doesn't like me. My wife doesn't want to talk to me. But it's your voice in your head, but it's not your voice. It's something that's on the outside. Psychically projecting, like telekinesis. You're a psychic medium. You understand telekinesis where it's your own voice, but it's not your voice. These are experts on what they do. So you have this feeling of talking to yourself, you know, my family don't like me, I feel alone, but it's not you. It's something demonic. It's an agent, and it's doing this. Well, that's going on, attacking from the inside. It starts attacking from the outside. You start seeing little bits of shadows at the corner of your eye. You start seeing stuff move around the house. And all this is built, all this is done for a reason, to build fear. Because the more fear that's built in the house, the more psychic energy is released, and the more these things will grow. So they'll do this for a while, and then when you're near, see, they have to break it to possess you. They have to physically break you down. You have to have a mental breakdown. You have to give invitation, which means they'll appear beside you, and they'll ask for permission. They'll just stand at the end of that bed, a dark figure, say yes, say yes. They'll attack you in dreams, say yes, say yes. It's these angels, fallen angels, they're a more intelligent we are. We are nothing to these people. These have been around since the beginning of time. They know every language. They know the world inside out. And how they work is, for them to possess you, they have to break you. If they can't possess you, they'll either get you into suicidal thoughts where, if they can't possess you, they'll get you to kill yourself or hurt your family. That's how it is. They want you dead. They don't like you. You're nothing to them because you're made in the image of God. You're given free will, which these things do not have. They don't like you having free will. They don't like you having the power you have. They don't like the idea that good angels worship you, that they protect you, that you're given so much grace and love. It's ridiculous. You see, in the beginning, when this all happened, God created human beings. He created angels. He tested human beings in the garden. They ate the apple. That's what it got. You know, I'm not getting in too much into the Bible, but how this all happened was, we in demonology, there are 2 types of demons. There are devils and there's demons. Demons are factory workers. Devils are office workers. Devils are, see, there's 9 orders of angel. The higher you go up at the orders of angels, the more powerful the bigger the angel basically is, the more power you have. So when the angels fell, different orders fell with them. So you've got really intelligent angels and lower angels. The lower angels are the ones that go into the house. These low demons that do all the breaking up the house, they move stuff, they frighten you. But when a hierarchy demon steps in, that's when people die. Like in the Emily Rose exorcism, the German case, the Amityville Horror, where he shoots the family. When a hierarchy demon steps into a case, that's when people die in exorcism. That's when you have demonic. That's when your house falls apart. That's when it rains rocks on the roof. When marbles go across the walls, these things can make your radiators disappear in the back garden. They can import anything into your house. It's so dangerous, it's ridiculous. These things kill. They absolutely hate you. And the reason for it is that when God created angels, he never showed his face to angels. He imprinted knowledge, he imprinted power on what they were to do. So when he approached the angels, he basically spoke to them and says, this is the plan. I'm going to come back as a man. And there's some angels going, well, why would you want to come back as a human being? They're not pure spirit. They're just meat. They're not like us. We're high up. That's when the pride starts to kick in. So when everything was going a bit topsy-turvy, you know, he was explaining he was going to be crucified, and they were a bit out. They were upset with it, but they were going along with it. But this is the turning point when he says that a woman was going to be born, Jesus' mother, and he's the king of heaven, and she'll be the queen of heaven. She'll be over all angels. They'll have to basically bow to her, like, even though, you know what I mean? Like, so the thoughts of them having to bow to a human being, especially a woman, just tipped them over the edge. They couldn't handle it. Like, so they all fell down. So how we know all this is theologians, and through exorcism, demons are forced to talk, and that's where all this comes from, all the information. But any type of exorcism in Rome or the Vatican will tell you the Virgin Mary's always there, because they hate her. Like, when the exorcism begins and near the end, they'll always say she's here, because she's always there to give healing. And that's why when I do a case or someone's having an infestation, I'll always tell them to say a rosary prayer, because it works miracles.
Can you say that again, Gavin? Missed that bit. You always ask them to say what?
A rosary. Say the rosary.
Right.
Yeah, even if you don't believe in, if you're Protestant, you don't believe in it, you know, if you're in a demonic house where shit's happening, say one prayer. You don't have, you know, it might help. Like, you've got nothing to lose, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm in people's homes and you work with different religions to use sage, you have to go along with it. Like, if you don't agree with it, if it works for them, you go with it. If you're working with different religions that use the Quran, you sort of try and work with them as well. You have to meet people halfway, you know?
Yeah, I've been I've done like work in churches. I don't go to church and pray. I go to church and I'll work doing demonstrations and stuff like that and messages. But certainly when you certainly do your homework prior to going on to do what you do and do and move these energies on and all that. So sometimes it can take you a while to get in there as well, can't it? Before you don't just rush off, you do your homework.
You spend about a month doing the case. Well, that's getting all the information, talking back and forward on the phone, making sure it's legit. Because at the end of the day, when you go to do a case, it's money out of my pocket as well. I have to figure out where to stay in a hotel. I pay for my own petrol, my own food. So I have to make sure it's a good thing as well, because it makes you do your homework 100%. Because there is times when you've gone to cases and it's pipes in the background. It's people that have they're on they have schizophrenia and they haven't taken their medication. You know, but at the end of the day, it's a good feeling. Even if there is nothing there, it's a great feeling that they're safe, you know, the kind of way. And that is good as well. Like, that's what I like. I'd rather go to a house where it's not haunted, to be honest. It's a lot safer for me and my family, and I feel better. And I always tell people before we go to a case, if you are schizophrenic and you haven't taken your medication, go see your doctor, speak to the doctor, take your medication. If it's not working, change your medication. And then after a few weeks, if they're still experiencing something, I'm not a doctor, don't get me wrong, but I'll still go and do a clearing, because at the end of the day, spirits like to hide out in mentally ill people, because it's so hard for people to believe their stories, and it's so easy for them to work. So when I go to a house, even if there's nothing there, I'll still do a clearing, because all it is praying and blessing the house and praying over people. you're bringing goodness into people's lives anyway. You've got nothing to lose. And if you're wrong, you've done your homework wrong, there is something there, it'll show itself. You'll get headaches, you'll get scratched. You know, you feel the change in the energy. When you go into a certain room and you walk in, you just know there's something wrong. Sometimes you hear a voice saying, no, leave, get out. I'm going to kill your family. Shit like that. I've been threatened so many times of, you know, it's ridiculous. They're like, sometimes I think I've quit doing demonology 15, 20 times. But then when you get a case, you go back in and do it. Like
you get on and do what you've got to do. So it's like you toughen up and it's like, right, I'm going again.
Well,
I've had a few questions coming in as well, Gavin.
Yeah, before you get into it, you say toughen up. You know something? When you go in to do a case, you put yourself in harm's way. You give socks. I used to do cases at night time. And by God, I got dragged, punched. It was terrifying. And to be honest, these things had the upper hand in the darkness. You go into a room, the light switch turned off. You're in the dark. You can't get out. No matter how brave you think you are, or I'm doing this, I'm a demonologist, I'll fight them. It's it's bullshit because you'll freak out. You're only human, and they'll sense the fear, they'll heighten the fear, and they've the upper hand because of darkness. All the energies of the day have calmed down, the vibrations are different, they're in control. So any case I do now, I make sure I have the upper hand. I do it in pure daylight. Always in daylight.
Do you find you come along do you come a recurring situation with a certain specific type of demonic or devil, or sometimes do you feel it's like, do you come to like ancient times with a lot comes through from the 1300s or the 1800s or the 1200s?
When it comes to demonic beings, like I say, hierarchy, lowarchy, they can all do the same thing. They're all dangerous. Like you see people when you study demonology, they try to learn all the names of the demons and what they do. In theory, you don't need that because these things, you don't need to know what they are. Like you go after doing the case file, you know what it is. Incubus, succubus, it's sexual, the hap, man. It all comes out, but when you're doing your deliverance prayers, the same prayers cast out the same demons. You don't have to, like, there's an American way of doing things where they'll go in and say, well, I cast out the demon of this, I cast out the demon of that. I don't get into that because at the end of the day, if I can't clear a house, I'm not going to put that family in danger. I'll email a bishop. They'll send an exorcist priest down. The exorcist priest, if it is exorcism, he's the only person that will ask, what are you? How many you are? What's your time of departure? When are you going to leave? How did you get in here? He gets all the information because during the exorcism prayer, the demon will come to a stage in the prayers where the demon will have to give the right information because he's bound by God to do so. And that's when that comes into play.
You see,
I know, like, when it comes... Sorry.
That's okay. I was just saying there, like where you said they'll come to you in your dreams and all that. I've had situations in and around with the succubus and all that they will virtually drain you in the night, even, you know, with the love and the sexual side of things as well. And they will virtually take advantage of you even when you're not in a full woken state as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you how that works. In about 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you how they work. An incubus succubus is the same demon. It appears as male, it appears as female, right? How it happens is there's a couple of types of incubus succubus, right? In a really dark demonic case with hierarchy, where a proper demonic case where the house is falling apart, you'll have rapes and stuff. That's vicious. That's what they do. But hierarchy ones are different. It starts off with someone, what they do is, it starts off slowly where they change the energy in the room. And when the energy changes in the room, it makes you feel calm. They'll gently touch you. They'll rub you. They'll sit beside you. And you'll feel safe. Oh, this is okay. This is something else. This isn't bad. That can happen for
try and kiss you.
No. Yeah, they can, but not yet. What happens is that happens for about 3 months till you feel comfortable. It won't harm you. Won't hurt your family. It'll never do anything. Then it gently, then it grows, you see. After a couple of more months, it lies in the bed beside you. It rubs up against you. It makes you feel happy. It tries to get you aroused. It makes you feel good. Then a couple of months later, what happens is it gets stronger. Where when it sits in the bed goes down, changes the energy, the vibrations. It could squeeze your arm. It could put its arms around you. It makes you feel as if you need that entity, that it's your friend. You know, it makes you feel that. It makes you feel like I will look after you. I'm with you. And then it'll go stronger. It'll go stronger. It'll go so strong that it'd be like a human being lying beside you. It'd be like physically touching. And the idea is, as this goes on, it breaks down your auric field. Your auric field changes. It makes you sicker. It changes everything about you. You start to get angry. You start to get frustrated. You shout a lot. You give out a lot. And this is what the hierarchy thing does. It doesn't want to hurt you, yes. It doesn't want to make you feel as if you're falling apart. It's slowly doing this. It gets you angry. It gets you a bit sick. And you get frustrated. You start shouting. You get emotional. And this happens for a while, but you just think it's normal life. But then what happens is you start to feel the coldness at the side of your body where the spirit is attached to your auric field. And this is the hardest part, because I've had something like this for about 3 months from doing cases where your whole left side is pure cold. You can feel it every day when you go to bed. When you walk around, it's constantly there. And what happens is you start getting anxiety attacks. You can't breathe. You're panicking. You can't get rid of it. And eventually you say, it wants you to accept it. And that's like free will, but giving it invitation. And that's the hardest part. Once you give invitation, that's when it starts moving into the house. That's when it starts opening up doors and bringing friends. So the problem is paranormal, ghost hunting, it's all dangerous. There's no room for thrill seekers, because people kill themselves, people kill their kids, people die. You know what I mean? Like, people, if you can't control yourself, something else will control you. If you drink, you'll turn into an alcoholic. It doesn't make a difference if it's not there to kill you, because at the end of the day, you have a guardian angel with you to protect you, and this is beside you. And it's basically going, look, I've got more free will than you do. I'm taking over this man. I'm making him drink and making him smoke and making him do drugs. And basically it's spiting God, the maker, because God has given you free will. By this creature taking your free will away and controlling you, it's basically giving God the middle finger. Look what I'm doing. It doesn't have to kill you. Most of the time they are out to get you, but some of the times because they're here and they're not going anywhere. They can spend years just breaking your family up, just messing with your head, making you fight with your wife. That's what they do. It's not all about killing someone. They don't mind spending 20 years turning you away from God and destroying everything you have because they hate you. And that's the truth. Yeah. You know, they're vicious and they're dangerous. And to be honest, it's not healthy. The people do, like you're saying about the thrill seeking, when people always, you know, with ghosts and stuff, they're not games. You know, we don't become friends with ghosts in houses, because ghosts in houses don't belong there. They're not meant to be there. You know what I mean? Like, they're meant to go into the light. Spiritual beings come back for healing, whatever you want to call it yourself, and do good stuff. They're not toys. In reality, you will become the toy. You can't. The thing with seances as well and ghost hunting as well, you don't know what you're communicating with. I've gone into houses where, you know, I don't mean to be right about the mediums. Some mediums are brilliant, some are a bit, they don't understand the dark side of things. So when I go into a house, there was a case there where, and they were in there before I got in there, and they were trying their best, and they were giving healing, giving all this. But because I'd done the case file for a month in advance, I knew what I was going into. I knew it wasn't good, but it was using their gifts against them. Like, I walked into the room, they're like, yeah, we have a child spirit and we've got 2 bad spirits. So we're inviting a child spirit in. We're going to protect this child spirit. We're going to take the energy. I'll give my energy freely. And I'm sitting there going, so I had to say, bring them outside and say, no, it's the one spirit tricking you. It's using your gifts against you. It's not a child. It's one entity that's stronger, not that you or me or anybody else. But they're not. The thing is, the only thing that drives these dark entities out, these demons, demonic things, is that religious items like holy water, holy oil, prayers, because it burns them. Because it's so charged with the love of God, it's charged with the power of God, it burns them. It's a weapon. Before you go into a case, you know, you do your prayers and stuff. Before you walk in that door, an angel will be with you, and he'll be protecting you. Like, but the thing as well, like, it's hard to explain, because when you go into clear a home, it's like good spirits and bad spirits. There's not really, they do fight a lot, but it's a courtroom. It comes down to a courtroom. You're sitting there and you're saying the prayers. And you're saying the prayers, the good angel steps up and goes, all right then, you have to leave. Bad angel steps up and goes, no, we're invited in. We got permission. There's the piece of paper. We have the right to stay here. The good angel has to fight the case. Then maybe a bit of fighting starts where they're forced out. But God allows certain things to happen. The thing is, if you invite something into your house, like you bring in a haunted Ouija board and you leave there in the room, something's attached to that board, you can do all the prayers in the world. God, control. God, from his point of view, is I'll try to protect you. I'll keep you safe. But at the end of the day, you've gone against free will. You've used your free will to bring something dark in your house. Same with ghost hunting. I said this to people: you go ghost hunting, you go up into a haunted house, you walk in, there's something demonic in there, you get punched and scratched. You leave that house, and then someone tells you, there's something demonic in there, something dangerous. You go back into the house the second time, you're giving in your free will because you know there's something dark in there. You're going in against it. Then it can attach, possess, follow you home, make your life miserable. That is the truth.
Yeah, well, it's just as you say, when you go, you can go back and go back, and I always find that people can over push a situation as well. And I know you do your homework as well, but like you sensed the month prior to going in there of what's going on already. Do you sense it as if that demonic energy is like split into three to play against the medium? Do you feel like it can split off as pocket of energies and divide itself to communicate with a medium in that type of way?
Of course it can. Listen, you have demonic house, and you have a ghost hunting thing going in to a private house. It's just kind of sit back and watch. You might play with your little, pretend to be a child, give EVPs. It's laughing. It's basically taking the piss out of you because you're not a threat. You have a parapsychologist going next with his notepad and he's going around taking notes. A scientist, they're not a threat. You go in and you start throwing holy water around. Oh, it will stand up to the challenge. The more holy stuff you will have in you, like chains or relics, it will stand up and it will fight to the end. It will fucking scratch and punch. It will give you nightmares before you get a case, you get nightmares. Something's in the house. You feel, even after a case, get into the car. Geez, you're emotional wreck, man. You sit there and you're just driving home going, geez, I feel like crying. I just don't feel right. Like, because you've given part of yourself you're not going to get back. Same with exorcist priests. After 15, 20 years, man, they can die. They give something you never get back. Exorcist priests, every time you go against a possessed person or even look a possessed person in the eyes, you lose part of yourself because it's inhuman. It's not meant to be here. You're looking at something that's so dark and sickening. It's not right. And you have people that love it. Like, you have people that's called full possession, where they're going around possessed. They're living a great life. They have kids. And then when it's time, they'll pass that demon onto their kids. The demons are happy. They're possessed. They're not fighting one another. They're in a happy place. They're controlling you. Then when you die, you don't know where you're going to go. People worship demons. They kill people. They do ritual murder. They do it it's crazy shit. It goes on in the world, There's a lot of weird stuff where, there's a lot of people out there that worship these things. They just love them. And to be honest, it mightn't affect them. It mightn't interfere with their lives. But at the end of the day, like, you sell your soul for pennies when in reality it's worth millions. Because you have people to get into this stuff of devil worship and praising different sort of entities. But at the end of the day, like, when you die, will you see your kids again? Will you see your family? Or will you be trapped somewhere? Yeah. That's why I think God always gives people second chances. He always gives people time to repent or say they're sorry, you know what I mean? Like,
do you find as well, Gavin, that it can play a lot of it can play effective where somebody's invited it in? It can play a lot of to a carrier that's actually holding that energy, that it can play a lot of give them a lot of mental health issues as well, because they're used to that energy. They're drawing that energy in all the time because they're attracted to that energy as well.
People, they have no money. They end up winning money for no reason and buying the crazy house they wanted to move in since they were a child. It's all set up by the demonic because everything's a game to them. People have bought haunted cars and where you just feel like driving off bridges. People bring haunted objects in their home, and it's scary, and it's I think there's a lot of nonsense out there. But when you're messing with paranormal, I see a lot of paranormal things now. There's too many of them now, and I just hope they're doing it right. The thing I find very strange is that you go in, you do a house, and you give instructions, and you give everything for this house, and you put your family at risk, and you tell them you're finished now. No more acting the fool. You stay healthy. You see, when you remove negative, you replace it with positive. You've done something bad, replace it with good. But then when you leave, they bring paranormal things in, forgot something, and you go, and then you call back to the house going, why did you bring a paranormal team in? Why would you do that for? They're just because it's there. It's not fully gone. It's dormant. Some of these things don't disappear. They just lay in wait. And when you start sinning again, they just open the door and walk back in. Because when God gives you a chance, he removes something. But if you go back to doing another Ouija board, you know, you're running that man's patience.
Yeah.
The door opens back up, but they don't come back with one. They come back with an army, twice, 3 times as strong.
Yeah.
Because that is the way it is. Like, God allows this to happen. You know, if you open, that's just the truth of it. If it happens, it happens. But the thing is, like, I've done cases where you give everything to help people and you leave, and then you just go back to what they're doing. And, you know, especially the thing that annoys me the most is that I've done a case and there's priests there, blessing houses, there's everything there, but when you clear it, then they come back in with someone else who's sensitive. They say, oh no, it's not demonic. And, you know, I sense a presence of a child and I can see an old farm. And then you're back to fucking square one. Sorry for the language. And the thing is, it breaks my heart to do it, but if someone does that to me twice, I won't go back. I'm not going to go back in the same case twice or 3 times when they're not listening to me. I'm putting myself at that. I've been in nearly 3 car crashes going to cases. Cars swerve out the M50 for no reason, like, and I've nearly been killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had dreams where I see the last dream I had was I see myself in a car. It was weird. It was like watching the TV. It's called You're a Medium. Well, how this happens is, right, with the Incubus Succubus as well. Like I say, remember, I'll get back to that for a quick second, is when they're touching, feeling, solid lying on the bed, what happens is overshadowing happens. Where the person feels dizzy, lightheaded, they feel like they're spinning around the room, they're blending their energy with you. They're damaging your auric field. They're like that. That's another thing. I keep going back. I apologize. With the invitation, the law of attraction is you're a positive person. Your auric field is bubbly. It's differently colorly. It's lovely. The vibrations are beautiful. You attract positive spirits. You kill animals. You beat people up. You bully people. You take advantage of people. Your auric field changes. The vibrations change. Your auric field gets darker. That attracts negativity. That attracts dark entities to you. That's why people walk through graveyards taking a shortcut home, and then there's a spirit in the house attacking them. Is because they were drawn to your energy. You know, they're drawn to darkness. Light attracts light. Dark attracts dark. The law of invitation, the law of attraction.
And most definitely where you're saying about the aura as well. So you can get like a puncture in your aura or a little
cracks. I've seen that before.
And then basically the spirit's there and it like gets an attachment and then it starts to build. And then this is where a lot of people, and I always say balancing and cleansing and stuff like that helps, you know, try to repair your aura as well. You know, I'll always give people some advice to balance and cleanse.
Yeah. But what I will say, you work with sage and stuff, which is grand, yeah? But if you have a demonic house, the only thing you use in a demonic house is blessed incense. Like, I use blessed resin, like frankincense, all that stuff. Do not burn sage or use crystals or any of that stuff in a demonic house, because it won't do anything. It will just get them mad. A demon can appear now and make all the crystals in the sky appear and drop down. Easy.
Yeah.
It can make anything appear. It can use sage. It can use whatever it wants, but it cannot go against a blessed object. You will just really piss it off. The thing that I find as well is, myself, and I'll be honest with everybody else, I know my limitations. If I go to a house and I get battered, I can't clear it. I have to stop and say, get rid of all your ego, get rid of all your pride, and say, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. This isn't for me. I'm not religious enough, because I'm putting their lives at danger. I need to step back and get someone better in to do it, like a priest. And that is the same goes with mediums and psychics. So you're going to do it clearing, you're not able to do it, don't give the wrong advice. Just stop and say, be the better man and the better person. What I do, say, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. This is out of my field. I need to go home and get someone else. I've done cases for 2 or 3 years and they're still going. I can't get rid of them. Exorcist priests can't get rid of the stuff. Shit just sticks to people. And it can stay them for 10, 15 years, and then it'll eventually go. It mightn't go. God allows it to happen for a reason. Either they're doing something wrong in their life, they're not changing, they're not doing something, and it's out of our control. And it breaks my heart when I have a case gone on for so long. I can't help them, because I just can't do it. No one's going to do it. You get the top exorcist priest and he can't do it. You go, what the hell? Like, some things cannot be done. If blood is spilt on land through a ritual 100 years ago, whatever you want to call it, dark magic, sacrifice, once blood is spilt, it's hard to get rid of stuff like that. Once voodoo or hoodoo, once symbols from different religions that are used in curses, hexes, or wrote on walls, and you can't find them, there's always a door open. I always tell people as well, when you go to people's homes and if they're dark homes, I say, First of all, paint your house yellow, white, blue. Change the colours in the house. Change the vibrations. If you have dark energy. If you have dark, there's a difference. You paint to clean a house, it clears everything. Without even doing the clearing, I say to someone, paint your rooms a nice colour. Nice and bright, nice and happy. Get rid of the dark brown. Clean out your house, open windows, let some fresh air in. And there you go. But listen, I have to go get the kids to bed here, so I have to go. And I do apologise. And if you want to catch up, man, just text me.
I will do. Also, as well, have you done any books yourself? You've written any books, and where can people get hold of you?
Facebook, Irish Demonologist, Gavin, Canavan. I'm in a few books, but not much, to be honest. I don't really go for all that. I'm just happy helping people. So,
And I know we have
you see everything on my page anyway.
I know we have some amazing people watching and listening in, and they've been really glued into this as well. What would you say? What would you suggest for any of them to read? What type of book would you say for them to read as well? That you would say, have a little look at this book. Would you recommend any books?
Demonologist by Ed and Ryan Warren. Or if you want to go for the books I'm in, with all my cases, they're in Erica Gammon. She does ghosts, something like that. I think I have a book here. Hold on there.
Yeah,
I've
written it down. It's Ghosts, Demons, Angels, Ghosts and Demons. 99 on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I think there's 2 books there I'm in anyway. I can't remember, to be honest, but there's a few books out. They're good books, but a few cases. If you go through my page, Irish Demonologist Gavin Cannon, you'll see the books, so you'll see them there. But to be honest, I know the books anyway.
I know we did say half an hour that you was giving up, but thanks for your time.
I have to go. No worries. Bye.
Take it easy and stay tuned, folks, because we'll have a little catch up. Thanks for your time, and we'll do this again.
Thank you. Bye. God bless.
Bye. I don't know whether if Jess and Dave want to jump on now and tie in with us as well, but certainly he's a very, very busy man as well, and I just thank him for his time tonight as well. And I know there's been loads of questions coming in, but that's how we roll. Open mic. The gentleman's had loads of information there as well, so please check out Gavin's page there as well. Any more questions? Let's see. I've got about 10 pages written down, and I don't think I even got a chance to get in with some of the questions there, but oh my word, it's there's supposedly around about I think there's 9 known demons basically, and I think a lot of people will basically know the 7 names of the demons and all that, and a lot of them around the testament of Solomon and that, and pride and envy and wrath and sloth and greed and gluttony and lust and all that as well. But I have experienced this over my shoulder is an absolutely will play games, so you just don't really know what's going on as well with the succubus and the succubi as well. And what they'll do is they basically got barbed tails as well in and around the succubus and the incubus as well. As obviously as Gavin explained, it's male and female as well, but it is also related back into time as well with medieval legend type of thing as well, and mythology as well. And that's where I was coming from with a little bit of the you catch up on a certain era from like the 1200s, the 800s. So to me, there's a lot of mythology, but in and around the succubus and succubi being the same energy and entity trying to portray itself as well. I have come across this a few times, and it does play games, believe you me. They're very smart. They can come over as very sexy, very potentially deadly as well, very powerful, seductive as well. And men, basically, if it's a succubus that's shown itself, you are that person's toy. So you're that spirit's energy's toy as well. It may feel like fun at the first, as Gavin said, I know, but you do not want to cheese this energy or entity off when it's in and around as well. It takes a lot to actually turn away from that type of scenario and push and rebel against all this, as Gavin was saying. So you fill your aura up with more purity and more positive energies as well. And again, it's very a voluptuous energy as well, and she's definitely got like wavy hair, which we've had drawn there as well. Silky skin, wavy hair, flawless curves. So it will give that image of very sexy figure, you know, like the hourglass figure as well. It'll flaunt their bodies basically at skimpy leather outfits as well. If people see the spirit energy as well, they don't hide the way that they are. Excuse me, they're very dynamic nature. They are very like bat-like wings as well. And I have come across quite a few, and that's why I put the barbed tail on the end of it as well, because they can portray themselves as another energy and then come through in and around. So sometimes when I'm looking at an energy, my guide and my team will go, Garry, it's got a tail. Garry, it's got a tail. You can't see it. The energy, the spirit energy is hiding that tail. So you'll know it's got that serpent's tail basically, and it's hiding it and it's not showing it yet. So sometimes, again, spiritually and mediums, the way we work, and they can come over with the curved horns. I know you can't see the top of the picture there, but it does have the curved horns on as well on the top. And again, glowing eyes as well. But I feel that the glowing eyes are more in and around the succubi, basically, the male energy. That it will have more of a glowing eye as well in and around if it's playing energies and entities around the female figure again. So that's just my experience of what I've seen as well. Very sneaking, very controlling energy, mellifluous, sex craved as well. And I know it sounds daft, and that's where I was coming from earlier on with the question is, you could be asleep in your dream and that's giving you certain dreams that's draining you as well and taking advantage of you as well. You might not know it, but when you're in that state of mind, it's like it'll certainly do that as well. And it does have ways of looking after itself, both sexually as well, where you might not know what's going on. It'll try and corrupt and it'll have a poisonous game of a life force in and around your life, as Gavin touched on as well. And it'll even show itself as the children as well, which is very hard to understand as well. I think certain people have touched on it in films, Stephen King and all that as well. And I think Scott Card and Orson Scott Card and stuff like that as well. So sometimes when these portrayed, people have experienced this, and some can be true tales of what they've come across as well. I think that took about 3 months to dispel. I think it was about 3 or 4 months again. So I'll go to some questions as well. And they will definitely drain you, and they can physically make love to you in the night 2, 3 or 4 times. And it sounds bizarre, but I have actually seen that. I have seen it full on basically as well. But again, with all types of low energies, I always safely say they can play games. So when you're in a room, I trust my guide, I trust my team. I do take holy water out with me on every invest. I've got holy water with me. I've touched people after an invest sometimes where they've been overcome, or they've had an energy that's really tried to take hold of a weaker person, and basically I've had to put the sign of the cross with the holy water on the back of the hands, and I've had to do it on the forehead as well. And the holy water it can be like you get outclaws sometimes as well when you've had a very heavy session and you've come across a very low level energy as well. So it is all about doing everything in the right way. I never have a board in my house. It never comes in the house. So if anybody out there, if you do have boards, as again, please take on board what Gavin said. He will do a month's research prior to going anywhere. All right. But I keep my boards in the garage. I keep them in the shed and make sure there's no portal open as well. And I will always ask the guide to make sure there's every portal is closed when we've finished an investigation as well. I will go to some little questions again. Jess has said she's received scratches and all that as well. And they will play games as well, Jess. And what they'll do is they'll come down from above. So some might be in an attic and then just play along and then scratch it and then just go. But for you, when you've had that experience, it can go on for 2 or 3 weeks where you're going, what was that? Why was all that? And it's like, oh, I've just been playing games. And they will play games. Right, okay, where are we now? Just catching, right. Gavin was awesome. I could sit and listen to him all night because I have experienced certain things as well. The possession side of it, again, I got a phone call to go and help out on 1 or 2 cases, and there was certain phone calls had to be made before I was given the okay to go up and help out with a couple of exorcisms and a couple of possessions and stuff like that. So it is very, very scary. And I think we touched on it the other night where the sat nav was swirling around prior to going there. I had to stop the car, restart it all. And again, we've all had the punches. We have experience when certain low level energies don't want us in and around as well. Oh, your internet's struggling, no problem. If you want to try it again, please feel free and dive in towards the end if you can. I don't know whether you want to go on your 4G on your phone and try and do it that way. Hello, Janice, hope you're well. Very good talk about what he does. Is it all true? It certainly is. And again, have a look for him on Facebook, add him as a friend. Anybody that needs help, just give us a shout, give us an inbox, because we don't stop working. You know, we certainly do not stop working. The other day I came across an energy and an entity that was on virtually somebody's back as an aura. And again, I've had to help remove that as well. And it takes time and it takes a team to do that as well. And tie and hold and shackle. You can shackle and chain these down if they don't play games. You can put them below, which a lot of people don't realize as well. So you can spiritually put a chain on these energies and entities as well if they don't want to. It takes a lot to do as well. Very good talk, Janice. Let's see where we're going. You've had some contact but got rid of it. That's fine. Again, loads of love and white light. Always fill the house up as well. More positives brings more positives. So if anybody's having a dip, as mediums, we will ask people when they contact us, you know, are you on any medication? It's not that we're prying into their personal life. It's understanding the state of mind that people of where they're up to in their life. And these will portray and make things tenfold worse and feel like that person. So when there is people going through possibly depression or feeling very low in their life, a lot of energy and entity can come around and say, oh, we like it around here, this is our type of atmosphere. And again, you know, lightening the place up, opening the windows. Every Saturday I'll have every window open in the house just to give it that freshness, give it that breeze as well. But I would definitely say if anybody does go out on investigations, do carry your holy water in there. If you do feel anything's in and around and attached around your aura, I always ask my team to retain them energies when you're 10 foot away from the building and stay within the building. But again, use the holy water. It is one of the most powerful things as well. And again, all the blessed items, you know. David, see what he's saying. Oh, your internet, that's fine. Must be scary encounters these. They certainly are, because as again, where Gavin's saying we haven't learnt everything professionally, because there's more for us to come across and there's more for us to deal with. But we go in with the hindsight of basically everything we do is with the full respect. Everything we do is with the good intent. That's the positivity. That's the white light that we bring to the table. And again, you know, I've had to turn to the church. I've had people come to me. I've had men of the church that's told me stuff of what they've seen and stuff that I can't repeat. And this is just an average lucky guy that's just head of a church has gone, Garry, I've seen this, I've seen that, I've experienced this. And I'm like, oh my word, it's just blew my mind away of how objects and items and animals and humans can be affected by the lower energies, as I always say, because I try not to feed them. That's why I don't name them. That's why I don't talk about them. But again, you get a certain way. When I do channel them, I will only let them in so far to show themselves, but I will hold them back. I'll always have my hand behind my aura, pushing them a certain distance back as well, which people might not see, but that's how I work as well. So I've been trained to work with the higher and the lower, but when you've experienced it, you get to know what level they're at. So my team will just go, Garry, it's a 1 or it's a 2 within the light sphere. So you know what's coming to the table as well. Jeff saying it must be a scary encounter. It certainly is, but I'm a big believer in spirits will, and your team will give you certain things to see how you deal with them. It's how you respond that counts. So when you've encountered something like that, it's like you've experienced it. So if you've got a friend that says, oh, I've suddenly got this going on and, you know, I'm not having a good run of things, you can help towards change and turn things around as well with their mindset. And that is a hard thing to do. Putting the positivities back in when they've just been battered from pillar to post for, say, 2 years, a year, 18 months of everything going against them, you know. So sometimes when it's testing, I always say to people, dust yourself down, brush yourself off, go again, head up high, walk tall, because you've got to walk through it. The only people that can do it with help and guidance is fine from us, but you've got to do it yourselves as well. All right, let's see where we're going on. So David saying, be interesting if Shepton Prison, what energy encountered the spirits you felt attached to me and drained me for 4 days solid. Again, its battery pack. So it's like, it'll go, oh, I'll play around David. I'll take all his energies for 3 or 4 days, but I'll move on to somebody else after that. So they can use you as you're their battery pack as well. Good evening, Jennifer. How's things in Canada? Thanks for the contacts. Going to bring some of your friends on the show over the next couple of weeks as well. So still working on that. Good evening, Dennis. Hope you're well. Jennifer saying she finds with lower energies, they usually do have a heavy, thick feeling as well. And it is hard to breathe around them as well. I believe where Gavin's up to as well now, I would say he's quite close into a case that he's dealing with at present as well, by the sounds of where he was saying things, but they can affect your health as well, and the mind state. They can play with the mind as well, so they can do a lot. They can do a lot of damage, and definitely want to feed on your energy is 100%. Is there any more questions? And thank you for tuning in tonight. And I'm sorry, Gavin, had to cut it short. I only had him for half an hour, to be honest with you. I got about 45 minutes out of it as well. So in and around where I would always say, if anyone's on location or whatever, is there's certain ways to open and close a board as well. So again, I've had people that's called me in and they've left the board open for 18 months and they've not knowing that their friend or their kids in the house have cut cards up and done a circle around the coffee table, but they've left the portal open for 18 months. And that's brought a lot of negativity in over the time, but kids don't realize and see that as well. So that's why there's always a time and a place where these youngsters, it's not a thing to be playing with in and around where, again, letting the guard down as well. I've seen it around youngsters where they drink a lot and stuff like that as well. They're open and susceptible for energies taking advantage of them there and then as well, because they're not in a perfect zone where they know what's going on as well. But definitely when you go around the place and before you go on an investigation, that's why I will always walk around a building or sit in the car park for 10 minutes and I will get the lie of the land. And sometimes I could be by a stately home or I could be by a hall and the guide will go left room up there, second floor, 2 doors down, two rows down, second door on your left. So you'll know there's a certain weighted energy in any building as well. You'll always have the positive and the negative. So where you feel it's quite eerie in, say, I don't know, say in a hall or a stately home, anything like that with a lot of rooms, you've always had misdemeanors going on in certain parts of the building and sometimes over the years as well. So you get used to where there's more of a positive energy and the more positive spirits seem to reside as well. So that's just the way it is. Is there any other questions? Again, I'm going to say just an amazing thank you for the amazing Gavin. Please look out for Erica Gavin's book, Angels, Ghosts and Demons, on Amazon. It's £8.99. So if anyone wants to get a copy of that book, Gavin is actually in that. obviously he started his path on the paranormal again, and I do really look forward to catching up again with Gavin as well, and having him along on another night as well. I have got some amazing guests coming up over the next few weeks, so please tune in on GF Uncensored on a Monday night and the open mic hour as well. So again, it's your hour, and again, all your questions will be put obviously as best as I can, but obviously Gavin had to get so much in before he went, so I do apologise for that. But again, anything that you've seen or come across over the next few weeks, just let me know. Anything that interests you as well. Hello, Leslie. Hope you're well. I'm fine. Please watch back on this as well, because we have touched on some amazing stuff as well. But if there is people going out there, please get your holy water. Leave it in the boot of the car. So if somebody feels like they've had an attachment again, just use that at the end of the night as well. That can be a nice way, a safe way of closing things off as well. Right, any more questions? I'm going to sign off there if there's not. Right, I am going to wish you loads of love and white light. And again, I've lit loads of candles tonight. I've really lightened the house up as well about talking about this topic and subject as well. So please fill your house up with loads of love and white light tonight before you go to bed. Stay strong, loads of positivity. Let's keep moving forwards as well out there. And again, these nights have been great, and it's kept us all going for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 months as well. Oh, you didn't? And yes, I will be, Jennifer, but obviously because of current situations, we're not physically out of lockdown, I think, till middle of June or something like that. So again, might get out and about with 3, 4 or 5 people and have a catch up as well. But again, it's that time where we can all catch up as well. So it has been a hard 13, 14 months not to just keep running and doing what we do and what we really enjoy. But we've got some amazing places coming up as well. So I think we'll do walk arounds and stuff like that as well. But I think we've got Guy's Cliff, we've got Shepton Mallets, we've certainly got a load of places to investigate as well, and certainly looking forward to that. And we've got a few team nights as well, as and when we can get out and about. Right. Anyway, I'm going to say namaste. Stay strong, stay safe. I'm going to take this poster down now and get short, but they can play games. So I'm going to say don't have nightmares. All right. So stay safe, stay strong, and thanks for tuning in.